First act, do we love our first act? Yeah! Oh, are you ready to love your second act? Yeah! Now, my favourite, there's many things that I love about your second act. So I came up to train all these guys, we talked about how Bright Club was going to work, and the thing is, that means I know what everyone's called. But Richard has still written, Aoife, your name, EEE-FA. That was beautiful. Even after we had a conversation about how I know Aoife's and I know that it's not Aoife. Yeah, brilliant. It took me a long time to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you excited to meet your second act? Won't you please welcome to the stage, Aoife Finneran!
So as Steve said, I won't go through my name, but for most people it's a lot more complicated than my research. So I'm an ergonomist, and ergonomics is a human-centric discipline. We're interested in, user participation and what they think about things. So how are your chairs? Are they comfortable, guys? No. They're alright? Well, okay, they're terrible, but the reality is, I don't really care. People have this perception about ergonomics that it's the science of chairs. But it isn't. That was some random neurotic American in the 1980s that wanted to sell a couple of chairs, and he described them as being ergonomic. They're great. But, most ergonomists don't give a shit about your chairs. So it's terrible, really. You just don't realise what being described as a boring chair expert does for your social life. So, picture the situation. You're sitting at home, alone, again, on a Friday night. But you're sitting on a chair. Next thing you get this little beep on your phone, it vibrates, text message. Cool, it's your friend Laura, great, she was always a laugh. You remember when you were in uni together, you got hammered, woke up on a beach in Galway somewhere, she's a laugh, open up the message. Hi Aoife, that's kind of her pet name for me. And she said, hi Aoife, me and Mark is our other half. Me and Mark are, we're doing up the house, thinking about getting a couple of chairs for the kitchen. Any tips? But then eventually, even if you actually make it outside the door, you get off the chair and make it outside, it's still difficult. So, one interesting time I went out with my friend Dave Dunn, he's a guard, and for those who don't know, a guard is an Irish policeman. And you go out with these friends, they all wear uniforms, they're not so bad looking. And, they're cool, they're saving people's lives, they're catching baddies, they're really cool. And next thing, Dave Dunn introduced you to these cool guys, and he's like, well, this is my friend Aoife, she's a chair expert. Lead balloon. But I suppose, the real thing to get across is, if people actually knew what you did, be a bit more sinister than talking about chairs, because ergonomists are interested in pain, really, but it's because they want to make you feel better eventually. Sometimes, we like to stalk people as well. You like to see how they do their work, so you watch them. Sometimes you keep people in confined spaces, so I did a couple of lab experiments, there were 7 hours each, and you get into a strange situation. You put up a poster around the university, you ask for people you've never met them before, you spend 7 hours together, a bit of a conversation, and they tell you very interesting stuff about their sex life, all of their hopes and dreams, and after 7 hours it's a very kind of awkward situation. Do I give them a hug? Do I say goodbye? I don't know. But so when I said it's a kind of a people-centric discipline, you really have to be kind of chatty and engaging and be able to talk to people and make them feel involved, because you want to help them, you want their opinion, but it can get a bit of an awkward situation as to how friendly you should actually be. So I remember one time I interviewed a construction worker. Construction is a high-risk industry, and same was Colin, kind of wavy hair, really friendly. We had a bit of a laugh during the board interview. And afterwards he said to me, can I have a piece of paper there, Aoife? And a pen? I was like, yeah, okay, grand. So I get a piece of paper, he pushed it back over to me. It's like, what's this for anyway? Opened it up, his name and his phone number. It's like, shit, this friending has gone a bit too far. So then I kind of was like, shit, how do I deal with this situation? So the next thing, then luckily he said to me, you know, Aoife, I'm from Stoke-on-Trent, it's a great place to go out in. I'd say, well, Colin, like, you know, first of all now, I put on my jacket, put equipment away, put on the bag. I said to him, Colin, I've been to Stoke-on-Trent, got up and turned around. Yeah, but it's not all about, you know, stalking people and seeing how much pain they're in. Sometimes, you know, when I tell people find their way. So we look at wayfinding. And, you know, we look at people's kind of cognitive abilities, how, you know, how their mind works, how they're able to do things and think about things in the physical environment. And, you know, again, when you say that to people, they think, are you some kind of mind reader as well? But yeah, I mean, I became kind of an expert in wayfinding. I had a little article in our Society magazine, The Ergonomist, wayfinding, a means to an end or part of the journey. Most impressed about that. And, you know, it's interesting that my friends found it hilarious that I would become, you know, a wayfinding expert. And I guess the reality is, you know, it was a rail-based project, so we had a very important meeting down in Milton Keynes, Network Rail, and we kind of thought, you know, went in and I was, you know, the whole spiel, I'm a wayfinding expert, you know. And the embarrassing thing was, like, I'm not, I have a terrible sense of direction, so I stood up and I turned the wrong way to go to the exit. And I seen Landry, I can't turn, you know, right or left or whatever he does. Bit of a terrible situation for me there. But I think, you know, I've given out an awful lot about shares, you know. I mean, they have been kind of part of discipline for a long time, and people do recognise that as an important part of your discipline. And, you know, chairs, you know, so I guess, you know, those chairs are providing you comfort and there's something to sit on. You know, to say thanks to your chairs. They provided some bit of laughter for me. And, you know, mainly the kind of root of the sketch tonight. But it was interesting. I have a friend called Darren, you know, and I spend ages saying to my friends, I'm not a bloody chair expert, you know. And my friend called Darren, and Darren is actually the Irish version of Doreen. And, you know, she texted me there just before Christmas. I was like, you know, great, you know, as I already said, I'm an ergonomist, maybe not the best social life. So I was like, great, and text, and it was like, hi Aoife, just, you know, her, as you say, her boyfriend at the time, right, he works in IT, so she was quite worried, you know, he didn't have the best posture, and, you know, she wanted to get him something he actually needed and something quite nice. So she said, you know, I'm thinking of getting Seamus a chair, any tips? And, you know, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, I can't handle this anymore. And so I went home, and, you know, there was a bit of rage there, a bit of like, you know, I fucking explain this to people, you know, not just a chair expert. But eventually, when I got over the rage, you know, I texted her back, and I explained, you know, what you should look out for in a chair, what's important, like, because I did actually know, you know, I do have some expertise in chairs. It was quite nice, really, you know. We went out for a couple of drinks over Christmas, and Seamus was like, look, thanks a million for getting me, you know, for explaining what you should get in a chair. It's really cool, it's really comfortable, I really love it. And, you know, they came back from Ireland, they're both working down in London, and they've used the chair a couple of times, super comfortable. And I don't know if this is related, right, but about, you know, they came back, sat in that chair, super comfortable. About a week later, Seamus asked her to marry him. And if that isn't a feel-good story for ergonomics, I don't know what is.
There's two things I took away from that talk. Aoife is an ergonomist, not an expert in chairs, which means she must be an expert in keyboards and mouse pads. The other thing I took away, for the whole of the middle of that, were you chatting up a guy called Gollum? Oh, Colin, right, okay. So just on the way through, I was thinking, that's a fucking weird name. Why hasn't she done a joke about the fact that it's called fucking Gollum? I said to him, did you change your name because your old name was stupid and you were called Smeagol or whatever? Do you know what would be a lot better than my fucking stupid Tolkien-inspired name my parents have given me? The same Tolkien-inspired name, but evil. That would be amazing. Yeah, good. Right, that was exciting. I'm actually gutted he's not called Gollum. I was going to go and look him up on Facebook.